Today we are gonna go downwind subfoiling with a bigger foil, the 1300 Enduro, and learn where to position ourselves in the bumps with a slightly bigger foil. Let's go. All right, so we are gonna paddle out far enough so that the bumps are sideways and not straight toward the shore. It's gonna be much easier to get going. So we should be about right here. And this is kind of like a follow-up video to the previous downwind video, which was the 4 rules of downwinding. So if you haven't seen it, go watch that. But there was some comments about the fact that I was using maybe a slightly smaller foil, a 900. So here we're gonna use a bigger foil. Whoop. So difference with the bigger foil is right now I barely had to have any burn speed to take off. Really pumping, and then boom, I was up. So now the 1300 is one of those foils that really is pretty ideal to learn, because like you saw, it really take off easy. I have a small burn today, so I can't get a lot of speed, but so easy to ride, still have decent enough speed that I can kind of stay with the bump. So today, the ground swell, you know, if I was like riding on my own, I would be riding a smaller foil, maybe the 800 Pure from AFS or the 680 Atlas from KT. So the goal was really to see if I have a bigger foil, which most people that are going to be learning are going to be on, can I just apply all the same rules as I would be if I was on a smaller foil. So again, I'm applying the 4 rules we talked about, really staying on top of the bump, not outrun it, try to stay high on the mast to get the most energy, and if I fall back, I would just go sideways pretty quickly to catch another bump. And as you can see, it's all the same. The only thing is I can't stay with the big bump for too long, so I turn and then turn back with it. I try to find the difference between the ground swell and the wind chop. A really small difference. It's going to be much easier for me to stay on the wind chop than on the ground swell. But in between, when I see it lines up perfectly with the ground swell, I can turn with it, try to get a bit of a boost of speed. But otherwise, I'm going to be pumping a bit until I get something that lines up with me, and then turning back in the right direction. Here I see a bit of a bump. Let's see how long we can ride it before we can't keep up. So I'm going straight with the bump right now, and I'm starting to lose it. So I'm gonna go find another one. Now I can turn with it again, turning back slightly, and maybe I pump. I'm not gonna make this one, I'm starting to be on the back, so I make a quick turn, really sideways, not stay on the back of it for too long, and turn with it again. Now there is that bigger ground swell, I wasn't able to keep up with it, but if I turn in the right direction, I can get just some of it. I got a bit low here, so I need to pump and try to get myself back up high again. I'm using the pump, you know, not only to generate speed and try to connect bumps, but also sometimes, you know, if I feel like I'm kind of like sinking down, you know, getting lower on the mast, I'm using that pump to like boom, hop back up high, and now I see I can get much more much more speed, much more efficiency. I can stay with the bump better. Right now I'm on a nice bump, and if I go straight with it, all good. I can kind of like stay with it for long enough. That's a good run. The 1300 has like, Enduro has like decent speed that like once you are going, you can keep up with it. But you know, because it's a bigger foil, it might take a bit more time to accelerate. So I'm standing, I felt like I was a bit low on the mast. Few pumps to get back up high to connect another bump. Boom, I'm going again. I need to turn with it. If you are on a bigger bump, you definitely have to turn with it. That's going to be your shortest way to stay with it. If you go sideways, you will have to go faster than the swell, and you know, often that would be more challenging, especially if you have a slightly bigger foil. So I'm going sideways until I can connect with a bump. When I see a bump, turn with it. Try to stay as long as possible. If I find myself behind, I'm gonna turn. I got low. I do a few pumps. The more you practice, the more you're gonna get better at staying high. But staying high is really the key here. And you know, it's for sure gonna take some adjusting to always trust that you can be high. But I make mistakes too, so if I find myself too low, I get into a few pumps and then I'm going again. But I hope you can see kind of like my decisions here on where to position myself with the bumps, and the fact that I'm using maybe a slightly bigger foil, which is a perfect foil to learn downwind subfoiling. Then maybe you can relate more and apply that more to your run, knowing it's not like a pro rider riding a tiny foil, carving around something that maybe you wouldn't really be doing to learn. So hopefully that is helpful to you. I hope you get out there. Let me know in the comments if you are able to apply everything here and see some success. It's not easy, but you gotta stay at it, and it's pretty magical to be able to travel for miles just using the swell out there. Pretty dreamy, really. So thanks you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out wingfoilprocenter.com. All of the gear I used today is available at the shop. We appreciate your support. Thanks guys, see you next time.